like specs on all the different planes that they love. I mean, there's like
Tiger moths.
like specific models. So they have somebody that writes like these little overviews on all that, and that's all on the site. It's not
Big
directly
overviews.
yeah, and they're not directly accessible via. So it's a WordPress site. It's not directly accessible via WordPress. It's only via FTP. We typically don't touch those. We put them all into a template format so that they look like the rest of the site when we first redid the site. But the site itself,
That actually has like a framework around. It captures all of those pages
Mhm.
as they're written, and then converts them into on the fly, converts them into a format that kind of more suits the rest of the website.
originally they were just blank HTML page, or just just the without any formatting to them.
And it does that in a fairly dodgy way from a programming point of view, but it works from a front-end point of view, and we try and screen out, or try and keep the original versions out of the indexing so that we don't get duplicate content. But it's an ongoing battle. This site has thousands of Moz issues still.
Well, yeah, of all those pages. So on the site itself is here. So there's there's probably 20 something pages on the site itself in the main navigation, and then not linked to the main navigation. And I don't remember. I think there's a way to get to it from the navigation, but there's 2,900 total pages indexed because there's all those bios of different airplanes.
And I think that does bring in a fair bit of traffic, those things.
Oh, it would. It brings in tons of traffic from people that are just looking for those types of airplanes.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a specific model, they're going to rank for that because there's not a lot of like
Going on
camel hopper, blah blah blah, 1922, biplane or whatever.
Very passionate people as well.
These guys are into it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's all volunteer,
Yeah.
and they meet regularly as a board. And all the staff in the museum are all volunteer. They've got somebody that works behind the counter, selling tickets, and they've got a concessions person, and
Gift shop.
they have maintenance people all over the place, and
And
keep the planes.
it feels professionally run from every angle. Like as much as they're volunteers, you wouldn't know it.
Because they're usually ones that come.
Have you taken Zach over there?
airplanes or-
Yeah.
We all got free tickets, remember, when we first signed up. So
That's right.
I think most people here have been.
So it was really neat. Are they doing an SSL as part of the Bendigo? They'd have to, wouldn't they? Because I just noticed the site isn't. I thought it was SSL, but it does not appear to be, unless it is on just some pages.
Well, they will need to, as you say, as part of the Bendigo Bank thing.
I don't remember if that was included in there. I mean, I don't know why we would have missed that. But the whole site's not behind SSL. I'd swear it was at one point. I'm almost positive it was. Let me. Is anything indexed?
I didn't think it was.
Let's see. No.
Yeah, there was a page that just went past.
It's in the portfolio.
That's
So it looks like they have it, but it's not.
It's
It's
just
not pushing to it.
301 across to it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that becomes a high priority. In fact,
Yeah.
we'll obviously do that.
You
as
got to
part
have to
of
do
the-
that before. Yeah. Yeah, because when I go to QAM, which I got that from search results. Okay.
That's odd, yeah. Okay.
So hopefully you can just fix that with HT access or whatever.
Now that you mention it, I do vaguely remember that we did switch them over at one stage.
I think they were actually one of the first couple SSL certificates we did when we were sort of churning them out. No, I think they came in with an SSL actually. I don't remember. Okay. So you'll follow up with that. We'll have to do that as part of the Bendigo anyways. All right. So as part of that program, we send them one automated report in the middle of the month because Cameron, the president, meets with his board at the end of the month, and he likes to have the most updated stats for that. Otherwise, we also send him a more thorough report at the beginning of each month for the previous month. Okay. Next up is half-price car rentals. Just to be extra confusing, half-price car rentals website is car-rent.com.au.
But if you Google half price car rentals,
They come up for this. They've been around forever, so they rank extremely well for everything that's currently on the site. The biggest challenge with this client has been that they just say they will occasionally discontinue major things off their offerings and not just pull it off and not mention anything to us about it. So they kill pages. So we see 301s coming up from that, and that kills their rankings when that happens. They are currently trying to push this whole Ute hire thing, which they rank great for right now. They actually asked John. This client infuriates me. I've quoted them on AdWords no less than 4 times during my time here. 2 of which were like major meetings with them, like going to they're just on Aerodrome Road, so it wasn't a big deal. But like, I went there with what's her name who worked here doing sales for a little while?
South African woman?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Her name either. Yeah. I want to say Patsy, but that's not it. Pam and I went down there just to sell a goddamn, like a $600 search campaign and a monthly management. And we even said if you wanted to not do SEO during that time, and it was the click budget that they just couldn't get wrap their heads around it. So they've never done AdWords as a result. They've had a million quotes for it. I'm not bothering anymore.
The most recent one, we actually said to them, you're wasting your money on SEO because everything that can be done for this site has been done.
Mm-hmm.
Switch your money over to, and then
They still won't do it.
and then they still went through the motions up to the point of saying.
She told me, she emailed, she got, let's do it. She let's do it. Can you just summarize everything for me? I was like, yeah. $600 to set up the search campaign. $450 if you want us to do a remarketing campaign as well. Monthly management can range from $150 to $360 a month. Click budget, $600 a month to start. It'll probably go up from there. And it was the click budget that they were like, no, we don't want to do the click budget. Like we'd rather waste. I mean, they're spending, what is it? They're on a lower one
tiny
too.
Business.
They're on $350 a month.
Okay.
So you'd rather waste $350 a month or whatever it is on SEO that we've already told you is not effective anymore.
Even if they only did AdWords once out of every 3 months,
They would make up for that.
just pause it. Just do it for a month, pause it for 2 months. You would be better off.
So, sites like these, the bigger wins tend to be for anything that's not a car. Sorry, anything that's not like a sedan or anything like that, or a typical car.
Like a ute.
Utes, yeah, only because there's a lot of demand when you get in when you talk about national players like Budget and all the big players like that. It's really tough to rank even regionally. They only sell here on the Sunshine Coast.
Okay.
It's tough to rank regionally for rental cars.
Hertz and all those big ones.
There's a lot of big ones, exactly. That being said, they still do pretty well. But people movers, Utes, they used to have trucks, which they ranked perfect. They ranked great for. They went through this big period where they added in motorcycles, like one day randomly, and scooters, and it was like they added that in, and I was like, who the hell is gonna come to this? Who's gonna rent like you either?
It's not Thailand.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not. Yes. So you don't get backpackers here who are like want to rent something like that. You get like people. Anybody that's going to drive a motorcycle is going to ride here on a motorcycle or ship their car or ship their motorcycle in. They're not going to come in and rent a motorcycle.
Suitcases.
They got rid of that.
And all that. You can fit that on bike.
So we have done everything you can possibly do on the site. It's one of the original WMSs, so it does. There are some glitches and stuff. And in terms of conversion funnels, the biggest headache with this site is it pushes everything from here to rental car manager, which is a separate program that manages the actual rental car aspect of everything, inventory and payments and stuff. So we've gotten really. There was a period of time where this kept breaking, and we were getting really good at updating that. It's HTML files only. It's FTP access. It is a big pain in the ass to be able to change anything on here. But we were working on this to get conversion tracking in.
But if you do have to, the people at Rental Car Manager are pretty helpful.
What people at Rental Car Manager are you talking about that are helpful? They get back to you in like a week.
Oh, really?
That was my experience. When I first started here, I had to, like I said, the site kept breaking.
Oh, it's got better then.
Oh, has it? Oh, good. Okay. And the worst part was because of FTP, they had a security thing on FTP that would change the password every 45 days or something.
Okay.
And it kept breaking, but it was only every like 60 to 90 days that we had to keep going back in.
Yeah.
So you'd sit down, and you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna do the work now, and you'd go and you'd try to log in. The password's gone. That adds another, so you gotta email them. They gotta email you back, and it's like that adds like another 2 days until you can actually get to that work.
Jeez.
I found that to be a big headache. I'm glad if it's improved. That's good because it sure as shit wasn't good last time I had to deal with them. Okay. Like I said, it's a WMS. The front part of the website is a WMS site. We can control all the content pages on the actual carrent.com site. I was saying before that they had emailed me at one point about the Ute thing and said they wanted to buy half-price uterentals.com.au. And what do you think about that? And John asked me about, should we pitch them to build a new site? And I was like, they won't even build an AdWords campaign. Yeah, but more to the point, they already ranked #1. You type in Ute Hire Sunshine Coast, Ute Hire Maroochydore, anything like that. They already ranked #1 for that. So there's no benefit. I was like, the only benefit to pushing it to another site like that would be just exact match keywords, but it's still going to take 6 months for a site like that to even get in the top 30 in ranking.
Probably worth them buying the domain and just sitting on it, just to stop someone else buying the domain.
Couldn't hurt, exactly. $10 or whatever.
Apart from that, there's no benefit in it.
So you get a lot of questions like that from people about buying domains. It used to be, if you had an exact match keyword domain and you 301 directed it to your existing site, there was some SEO benefit to that. I'm talking 10 years ago. That's not the case anymore. When somebody comes and they say, well, I've got an existing site and it does really well, but it's not ranking well for this, should I buy that domain for that? The answer is no, unless you're going to create a separate website. It can't be a duplicate of the first one. You're willing to wait at least 6 months for it to start ranking. And even then, it's really only, its biggest benefit is going to be for paid advertising. Like if you land somebody on something that said half-price uterental.com.au and they're looking for Ute rental and they click an AdWords ad, you're going to get a higher quality score for that because of the exact match domain, which means your keyword prices are going to be lower, which means your cost per conversions might be lower even if it's the same conversion rate. It's the only benefit. Okay. Plus, somebody's going to a site that's just talking about Ute rentals instead of having Utes and this is a little bit more confusing.
Is that because Google now kind of considers that a black hat tactic?
For SEO purposes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they won't rank you higher. They're smarter, and they know that the biggest thing, you can create a new site that's not related to the originals. Like as long as it's original content, that's not black hat. Yeah. It's creating a new site. New sites take a while to. Newer domains and newer sites take longer to index and to rank. That's just how Google works. For organic. For AdWords, you can start pushing traffic via AdWords to something the next day.
It's just going to cost you.
It costs you to set it up and everything. It's just whether there's value in that. So that's something that we have to sort of figure out.
It's a trust issue. Google knows that most businesses don't last more than 12 months. So when a new website pops up, they're hesitant to send anyone there until it's proven that it's going to be around for a while.
It gets its authority up,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yes. So we use domain authority. We talk about that a lot.